This priest, who didn't know that a camera was recording him, did something shocking that will leave you speechless. The small town of Hampton was home to St. Margaret's Church, where Father Richard served as the officiating priest. Though he had been with the parish for over 7 years, many church members still considered him the new priest, as he hailed from a different part of the country. Father Richard cherished both the quaint town of Hampton and his role as its minister. In his free time, he enjoyed strolling through the dusty streets, soaking in the town's charm. One of his favorite places was the local coffee shop, where he would sip his coffee and observe the rhythms of daily life, mothers with their children, couples walking hand in hand, and elderly residents deep in conversation. The scene always filled Father Richard with a deep sense of peace and contentment. He also dedicated his time to connecting with his parishioners, visiting them in their homes, attending community events, learning about the town's history, and offering help to those in need. However, not everyone in the town shares the same fondness for Father Richard. Some people in the town, and even members of the church, were suspicious of the reverend. The church members who doubted the priest did so because he was from a different part of the country. They felt that he was not sincere and was only pretending to be kind. But what made people most distrustful of Father Richard was his attitude towards one of the female church members, Linda Adams. Linda was a very pretty single mother who was a consistent member of the church. Linda's husband had accused her of cheating on him years ago and abandoned her and their 2 little children. Since then, the townspeople had come to see Linda as an indecent woman. So Linda had been raising her 2 kids alone while the whole town shunned her. Yet Father Richard did not care as the town's priest. He welcomed Linda back into the church with open arms and treated her very kindly. As a result, Linda was very grateful, and she became very active in the church and was always involved in every church activity. Soon, Father Richard became a regular visitor at Linda Adams's home. He loved spending his free time with her kids, and he was always invited to their house for dinner. The priest would talk about faith, life, and everything in between. Linda's children, 10-year-old Elizabeth and 7-year-old William, were always happy when he visited. When Father Richard visited the Adams on weekends, he would help them with their difficult chores. Father Richard often spent time with Linda and her children, praying with Elizabeth and chatting with William about games. Linda appreciated his kindness, and her children enjoyed his company, making the Adams home a comfortable place for the priest to relax. However, this closeness sparked rumors among church members and townspeople who suspected an improper relationship between Father Richard and the young mother. Despite the gossip, Father Richard wasn't bothered, continuing to visit anyone who welcomed him, though he felt especially at home with Linda's family. One weekday, Linda decided to visit the church to pray and assist with some duties while her kids were at school. After tidying her home, she headed to the church, where she met Father Richard. They spent an hour together, talking and praying, strengthening their bond through shared faith and devotion to the community. After Father Richard left for his personal quarters, Linda began tidying the church. She enjoyed helping to clean, sweep, and dust the pews, along with dressing the altar. But then something happened that made the townspeople angry at the priest. About an hour and a half later, the doors of the church burst open and some church members trooped in. They were there for choir practice, and what they saw shocked them. Father Richard was bending over Linda and was breathing into her mouth. As soon as they saw this, the choir members assumed the worst. They concluded that the priest was harming Linda, so they began to shout loud accusations at Father Richard. Hearing what had happened, someone sounded the church bell, summoning the townspeople. Father Richard was startled by the choir's reactions as they quickly accused him, unwilling to hear his explanation. Their long-standing suspicions about his relationship with Linda seemed confirmed when they saw him bending over her unconscious body. As the bell echoed through Hampton, people poured into the church, jumping to conclusions and demanding Father Richard's arrest. Distrust spread like wildfire, leaving the priest devastated. All his efforts to earn their trust now felt wasted, and he was overwhelmed with a sense of isolation. While Linda was rushed to the hospital, a young church member named Tommy burst into the church, interrupting the escalating chaos. As he got to the church, he could see that the townspeople gathered there looked very angry. He saw Father Richard was still trying to explain himself to the angry townspeople, but they refused to listen. Tommy immediately went to the center of the commotion and got everyone's attention. He showed a live recording of the church on his phone to the church members gathered there. Linda's live recording on social media shocked the townspeople as they realized it was still ongoing. They retrieved her phone and watched the saved footage, which revealed Father Richard performing CPR and praying for her. The video proved his genuine concern and showed no wrongdoing. The townspeople were left speechless by his selfless actions. After spending an hour and 30 minutes on her tasks, Linda brought out her phone to share something that touched her with others on her social media page. The afternoon sun shone through one of the stained glasses above the altar, and it cast a wonderful glow on the pulpit. It was a sight too beautiful to ignore, so Linda had placed her camera carefully on the seats to capture the pulpit and pressed the record button to start a live recording. Then she had gone to the altar, but as she was kneeling down to begin praying, she had suddenly clutched her chest before collapsing. Father Richard, who had been studying in his private quarters, was seen on the video entering the church building and spotting Linda unconscious on the floor of the altar. The townspeople watched in stunned silence as the recording showed Father Richard rushing to Linda's side, performing CPR in a desperate effort to save her life. Unbeknownst to him, Linda's phone had been streaming the entire scene live on social media. When the video spread throughout Hampton, the community was overcome with shock and regret, realizing how wrong they had been to doubt him. The doctor's report later confirmed that Linda had a serious health condition, and it was Father Richard's swift actions that had saved her life. Humbled by the revelation, even those who had accused him came forward to apologize. With compassion, Father Richard forgave them, reminding the community of the dangers of judgment and urging them to approach others with empathy and understanding. He expressed hope that this lesson would inspire them to be kinder and more open-minded. Grateful for his selflessness, the townspeople embraced Father Richard as a valued part of their community. Their perspective on Linda also shifted. They began to see her as a devoted young mother, rather than judging her through the lens of her ex-husband's actions. The experience served as a powerful reminder of the importance of withholding judgment and offering others the benefit of the doubt, highlighting the transformative power of compassion and understanding. I'm really keen to know your thoughts on this story, so please don't hesitate to share your insights in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and found it engaging, I invite you to subscribe to our channel for more similar content. Feel free to share this video. Take good care of yourselves, and I'm excited to connect with you in our future videos.